There. Now you can hear me. I'm never going to figure this out. I know I keep saying, oh, maybe one day I'll figure it out. There. No. Now you can hear me. And now you can hear me a million times because I'm so stupid. I don't broadcast or record or whatever for a week, and then I just completely lose everything that I do. I have no idea how to do my job properly. I apologize for that. All right, so how is everyone doing? I'm really sorry to those of you who were supposed to come to the live directed yesterday and I had to cancel. I'm really sorry. For the last 2 days, I was at an art installation that my art collective that I'm a member of was doing, and it's outside. We basically took 150 feet of burlap and stretched it across these poles, kind of weaving it back and forth on this big platform. And then we took a bunch of yarn and all kinds of materials. There were about 30 artists, and everybody just kind of did something really interesting on it. We wanted it to be like a vine, so everybody kind of had to do something in that vein. It had to have a piece of a vine in it somehow. So it was outside, and it is officially summer here, and it was very, very hot, and I was standing on concrete for 2 days, and so like I am officially seriously sunburned. And as I was getting ready to broadcast to you yesterday, I started feeling just sick. Like I was feeling lightheaded. I felt like I had the flu. I had like shivers and chills, and I felt like I was dying. And I totally forgot that that's part of having a sunburn. So thankfully today I feel great. So today we don't have to deal with that. Now I just get to wait for... My tattoos have never peeled before because I haven't had a sunburn in so long. So it'll be interesting to see how a tattoo peels from a sunburn, if that happens. Anyway, thank you for being here, everybody. So as you saw when we very first started, I showed you my brushes in the little camera shot over here, right there. And so we can talk about these today if you like. Obviously, we don't have a video, but we can talk about anything you guys want. Obviously, I'm set up for demos. If you'd like some demos, we can do that. We can just kind of chit chat. We can do whatever you guys like. So if you're really quiet, then I'll probably just assume you don't want to talk to me and cut it short. So make sure you keep telling me what you want to talk about. So hello to everybody who's here with us. It's really awesome to see all of you. Pat's brush is shipped already. Make sure if you have a question for me, a specific question that you need me to answer, please make sure it's in caps. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go through chat and I might say things that are interesting. I actually got up, or Vince and I got up at like 3:30 this morning. That's not normal, but it seemed okay. We got up and we're like, all right, we're up for the day. And then we had a little nap earlier, but I got up and I immediately started shipping brushes. And I went until I ran out of labels. And that was at like 8. And Staples didn't open until 11. So I couldn't get any more labels. So I'll be shipping more brushes. Yeah, but can I demo how to make a pond look as if it is normal and not hanging in the air? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, Pat. If you could be a little bit more specific, then it's something we can talk about. I kind of have an idea of what I think you might be talking about, and if so, we can talk about that. Real quick, I want to go over something because I know that this is going to get asked. I actually put a disclaimer, not a disclaimer, but a little note on my website about it. So the filberts, the large filberts, when you get them, they will be very pointed like that, and they look very pointed in the photos on my website. And I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't want a cat tongue, I want a round filbert. I swear to you that these are shaped like normal filberts. In fact, I used this one for the first time today. It looked exactly like this one. I just washed the sizing out of it. So they are oval filberts. They're not pointed cat tongues. I don't want to break this one because obviously then somebody will get one with the sizing broken out of it, and I feel like that might be sad. But yeah, so if you've been concerned about the shape of the filberts because they're so pointed in the photos, be assured that they are filbert-shaped filberts. It might take a time or two after you wash the sizing out before they actually look like filberts. But yeah, they're filberts. A water demo. What kind of a water demo? Perspective of lying flat. So Pat, we kind of talked about something very similar a while back, even though we weren't talking about water. So one of the things that you have to remember is that when you're looking at something, when you're standing looking out at something, it's going to seem squished. When you're looking straight down at it, you're going to see the whole thing. So here's an example. Have you ever stood in the street where there's words painted on the street, like maybe bus stop ahead or whatever? When you're driving in your car, you see it's bus stop ahead. It looks like normal letters, right? But if you're standing on the street and you look down at it, they're really long letters. And it's going to be the same thing like with a pond. I know that in your brain, you're like, okay, well the pond, I want this pond to, it's shaped like this. That's what my pond is shaped like. But your brain understands the shape that it's supposed to be, even if you don't draw it like that. So maybe this will help. Kind of take your hands like this. Let's say this is the shape you want of your pond. Hold it out in front of you and then kind of tilt it until your hands are flat. And notice how that shape changed. So let's see if I can, so here, this is what your hands look like in front of your face, okay? And then as you tilt it so that your hands are laying flat, see how that shape changes? Look at that. There's just, if the opening right here is the pond, I've just got like a little sliver. There's an air show going on at the Air Force Base, so if you guys hear like, rah, it's jets doing all kinds of fancy stuff. So see the shape of the pond, it's very long this way. It's very narrow this way. The curves here, even though you may want your pond to be pretty much a circle, when it's flat, the curves, look how tight that is. Boink, it's a little hairpin curve. So it's the same thing. I don't have that canvas here that we worked on at the studio that time when I was talking about the perspective of a road. Wait, we did a road recently. Please stand by. We talked about, you know, if you don't make the curves of your road tight enough, that it's going to seem like it's going uphill rather than laying flat. So remember when we did this painting, let me zoom you out there. So if you ask me, if I am looking at this and I think I'm going to drive a car on this road, I would expect to kind of come this way and then have the road slightly curve very gently as I go around that way. It's not going to be this tight like it looks here. But my brain understands that that's a nice soft curve because of perspective. It knows what it sees. If this curve were opened up really wide, if it were, you know, much softer like that, it's going to seem like the road's kind of going up a hill because it looks, I'm not sure how to explain what it looks like. I understand what I'm trying to say, and I hope I'm not confusing you. You just want to remember, if you want something to be flat, your curves have to get tighter. So I'm just going to draw real quick. Do I have something okay to draw on? Probably an old piece of paper. It wasn't prepared to me. Let me look. That makes sense. Good, good, good. On the hill, you know, let's say that here's where we're standing. Yay! On a hill. And the hill comes down, there's another ledge, and we have our pond right here, okay? As we're looking down at the pond, it might look like this. As we move down here, and we're looking down at the pond might start to look more like that. Just elongate it a little bit more. The edges wouldn't come outside. It would be more like there. It's not going to get wider here necessarily. It's just going to get more scrunched here. As we stand right here at the pond, then it might, you know, it might look like that. It might be just an absolute sliver. But depending on the perspective of everything else around it and all the other things you have around it, your brain is going to see this little sliver and go, oh, that's a big round pond. It's going to interpret this when it sees this. But yeah, if you are painting something where you're standing down here looking at the pond and your person sees this, that's what it's going to look like. That it's right there in front of them, like a mirror or something, which could be a cool surrealist painting, yeah? And then it's the same thing with the road. So think about that. Like I said, hold your hands in front of you. Look at how that exact same curve changes shape as you bring it from standing up straight to laying flat. Same thing with the road. It's going to get more narrow as it goes back. It's going to be wider in the front. But if that curve, let me show you, if that curve is really soft, even if your road narrows nicely, see, that kind of looks like, here, let's put a horizon here. It almost looks like it might be going uphill a little bit. But if we have that road here, and it's still narrow down there, and it's wide here, but it comes around like that and cuts. I really don't draw very well. I can draw much better with a paintbrush than I can with a pencil. See how that curve comes way out there? I think it looks a little bit more natural. It looks a little bit flatter. But ultimately, your brain is going to understand what's going on there, even though you go to draw and your hand is like, that's not what it looks like. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, you guys. Sometimes I get nervous when... Good. I'm glad that was helpful, Pat. I just kind of thought of the hand thing as we were going. I always get a little bit nervous trying to explain perspective. And I think it's because, you know, I am self-taught, so the things that I understand about perspective are things that I've picked up from doing really bad perspective, or, you know, just from observing other paintings and photographs, or from accidentally nailing it in another painting and then wondering, oh, well, why does this look okay but this doesn't? And so that thing that I talked about in my blog last week about failure, when I said that every time you do something wrong and you fail, you gain experience. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's kind of how I know what I know about perspective, is just from experience. So sometimes I feel a little hesitant to talk about it because I do the whole self-doubt thing, just like I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. I think, oh, you could quite possibly be wrong about that because you don't really know what you're talking about. So, but I'm glad that that was helpful. Good. All right. We're on a roll now. What else do you guys want to talk about? You guys just boosted my confidence so much. I'm like, yes, I get this perspective thing. Let's see. What do I have to talk about? So I didn't do a whole lot of painting this week. I know. It's a shame. Like I said, I was getting ready for that. I was working on that tapestry from about Tuesday, maybe even Monday, until yesterday. Actually, I did not do it yesterday. I was supposed to. And I called in sick. I said, I felt like I had the flu all day. I'm not coming. So, but yeah, that's what I did all week. So today I've been trying to get some painting in. I have a couple things that I'm working on for videos when I come back. So I've got a few that I just need to put a little bit more time and attention into. And then I've got the first couple of weeks, or the first few weeks, set for when I come back. The blog post was helpful. Good. Oh, perfectionism. Pfft. Deb. I hate perfection. I hate perfect. Maybe my next blog should be about perfect. Perfection. Such an ugly word. Did I post on the challenge page? Pat, I did not. But I appreciate you keeping up on that. I need to. I fell behind on my social media. That was one of my goals, again, while I was off from broadcasting, is to keep up on social media every day. And just this week with the tapestry, I got so behind, but I'm caught up today. And then I get really nervous to show off work that I do personally. I don't know why. Because I feel like I do better work personally than I do in videos. And that's not to say, oh, I give you guys all the crap. It's because when I do personal work, you know, I do subjects that are a little bit more meaningful to me, or I just spend a lot more time. And so, because I'm not trying to blast through a painting in an hour and a half, I feel like I do more quality work. Like my last painting that I finished took me several weeks to do. But then with that, I'm so much more hesitant to show it off. I was so proud of my last painting. I'm like, when this is done, I'm going to post it all over the internet. And I haven't posted it anywhere or shown it to anyone except Vince. So, yeah, I suck. I do need to post in the challenge. I appreciate you bringing that back up. I have several things that I can post to it. A lot of it is junk. I'm not going to lie. But there's a couple things I do have one I can show you guys. I did say to keep me on task, Pat, and I appreciate it so, so much. We'll let you slide if you're shipping our brushes. A huge number of them are going out tomorrow morning. Clearly not today because it's Sunday, but yeah. I will be up to here in brushes for the rest of the week at least. Yep, Lisa, you're right. If I want to do it, I should do it with a little group, just kind of share what I've been working on. But is it weird to you guys when I walk away and you can't see me anymore, but you can hear me just like I'm still standing right there? I feel like that might be weird. So I have one that I finished and that I really like that I'll show you. I have a bunch of other things I just kind of started and stopped, and because that's how I work. I start and stop and then start again. And but yeah, so let me show you this one that I finished a couple days ago, and Vince really liked it. And he's like, you should do a video of that. And I'm like, eh. Because I can already see everybody being like, I don't really like that one, because that happens. So I did this a couple days ago, and there's things about it that I'm not in love with, but there's things about it that I really, really like. I know it kind of looks strange right here on the camera. It's because this is a highly textured canvas. You can see that. When I paint for myself personally, I love painting on heavy textures. So I do that a lot. I just grabbed a bunch of canvases and just like gooped them with tons of texture. Let me zoom you in there a little bit more so you can kind of see how lovely that texture is. I think this is modeling paste, the Liquitex modeling paste. But I love the way it kind of catches the colors in here. It does make detail work a little bit harder, but it's really fun. Oh, there. If I turn it so you can't see the glare on the texture, you can see a little bit better. So I did that one a few days ago. And yeah, I like a lot of things about it. Oh, Atra's working on Van Gogh Sunflowers. You know, I've been working on that on and off, trying to simplify it for a video for quite a while now. And I was actually looking at that again today, thinking maybe now I should do that. So yeah. Thank you, Deb. She said this is very elegant. I appreciate it. This is actually inspired by, I don't think Vince even knows this. This was inspired by Arrested Development. That television show. Did you know that, Vince? Yeah, that red flower vase that I painted that you liked? Yeah. It was inspired by Arrested Development.
Oh, awesome.
Because in the model home, right by the entry, there's that tall red vase in the little alcove that Lindsay's putting in there in one of the first few episodes. And then it's there throughout, yeah. And then it's there throughout the entire
Is that the one that you
series.
say you don't want to do for, what do they say?
They like it, but these guys are like you. They like everything.
I don't like everything.
You do like everything. Anyway, it was inspired by Arrested Development.
Awesome.
Yeah, it does look a little 3D with the texture, and that's one of the reasons that I love painting on texture so much. Katrina, we're Arrested Development sisters. Heck yeah. So that's one of the things that I have been working on while I've been off. And I miss doing videos so bad, you guys. I go through days, like sometimes in my break, I go through days where I paint all day. I work all day. And at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I'm amazing. I did so much work today. And then I go through other days where I'm like, I was a flippin' bump on a log today. And I feel like I'm wasting all of my time on this break. It's a break. It's really just a broadcasting break. Like I should be working just as hard or harder. But yeah, anyway, I miss broadcasting. I feel like I need that, what am I saying? The routine. I need that routine because it's really hard for me to keep on track what I'm doing. So yeah, maybe I'll come back early. We'll see. I still have time to come back early. Maybe I will. I just get bored when I don't have work. I like to work. All right, guys, what else do you want to chat about? You better finish yours first then, Atra, so you can accuse me of copying you, you brat. Don't let her do it, Vince. Don't let me come back early. But I love broadcasting, or even, you know, I just love making videos. And I miss it. And yeah, the routine, the structure, I miss that. I feel like I need it. But I was thinking, Vince, because I had this like a Kelly green couch. It was at my studio, or at my gallery, and then it was at my studio, and we just brought it home today. And Vince was saying that he wanted some cool art to go behind the couch. So I have an idea for what I want to paint. So maybe I'll do that today. And that can make me feel very like I accomplished something. I painted something.
You should tell him my idea about Mr. Jane's treasures.
I don't know anything about that. You come tell them. Vince has something he wants to tell you about.
No, I'm not.
No, you don't. Oh, he's not gonna. Are you gonna come or not?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Oh, he's being shy. Yeah. All right, here. I'm gonna give.
Oh.
Get over here. I'm gonna give you the microphone. Okay. Now remember, this is a wireless mic, so don't talk like this.
Can you hear me?
No, just talk.
Hello?
No, just talk normal. Okay.
I was on TV when I was 8, and I was doing that the whole time. Where do I look? Is it okay if I look in the camera right here? Okay.
Stop.
I had this idea, it's actually a serious idea, to create a page on the Painting with Jane website called Mr. Jane's Treasures. And that is born from the fact that I am now the owner of about
50,000.
50 to 100 canvases that are like this.
At
Well, I
least.
mean, that are finished. Like, can I pick this up?
Yeah.
That are like in finished stages like this. They're large, and there's some of them are small.
No, half of them are junk that I just want to throw in the garbage because they're not even actual paintings. Yet he's got them like hanging on his wall in his office, and I'm like, that's like an old canvas that I painted over with gesso, and then I painted a little practice thing in the corner of it, and you can still see the old painting behind it.
Well, no, some of them.
And he hung it on his wall and won't let me do anything with it.
What happened was that when she was cleaning out the studio in preparation for moving down here to the house, she was going to throw away like 100 of these things, and I'm like, don't throw that away. That's awesome.
I still have stacks of canvases that are going to the dump.
I have stacks and boxes, and I thought maybe like the hardcore fans like me would want to own them, and I just thought maybe I would bounce that idea. I didn't want to mention it on the Painting with Jane Facebook page because it's not my place to do that. And so I just thought maybe I'd ask the Patreon supporters what they thought about it and if they would be interested in something like that to gauge, should I throw it away or should we put them on, like, I'm not talking about selling some like draft for like $100 or $200, but I don't know, something reasonable to cover shipping and to help me buy some new t-shirts.
He does need some new t-shirts.
Okay, that's all. So
I need some new t-shirts too. This t-shirt is like 10 years old.
This is not the Vince show, so take this off of me.
It's not the Vince show. It could be the Vince show.
No.
They love it when you show up.
Can they hear you?
I'm sure they can
You're
hear
gonna
me.
talk into it?
No.
Okay. Okay.
All right, go away.
All right.
But no, for reals, you guys, tons of stuff is going in the garbage. Yeah, Yvonne says, record a video, but don't post it and keep it for those weeks when you don't have one. Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. There's one that I was actually working on today that I think is just going to be a little painting. I don't think it's going to be a normal size that we usually do. So I was thinking if it's just going to be a little painting, maybe I will just record that and kind of put it in my pocket for another day. Guys, please don't encourage him. Oh, boy. Oh, you guys. You guys, seriously. The stuff that I'm throwing away, it is not worth keeping. Trust me. I have been a canvas hoarder thinking, oh, I'll just sand this one down. It's got too much texture. I'll use it someday for something. I'll put more texture paste on it. The vast majority of these canvases have been painted on so many times with so much junk, and they're so covered in so much texture that they're not even worth salvaging. So yeah, a huge amount is going to the dump. This is a long time. It's way overdue. I still have a stack of canvases over there that it's leaning against my wall, and it's probably, let's see, no kidding, it's probably at least that deep, like 4 feet deep of canvases leaning against the wall. Ugh, and that's not even all of them. That's just a portion of the ones that I'm going to keep. Atra, poor Atra, when we were having the retreat and she got here, you know, so we could start getting set up. She came to my studio and we were hanging out there one day and she starts looking around. She's like, I love that. I'm like, oh, don't look at that. That's garbage. I'm going to paint over that or probably just throw it away. And she'd turn around and she's like, oh, I love that. I'm like, oh, that's another one. I'm just going to paint over it. That's just an ugly practice or whatever. So yeah, I did that to her several times. Put her on ignore. You guys, you're supposed to be on Team Jane. Team Jane here, not Team Vince. He's got enough people on his team that he doesn't need your help. All right, let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Oh, do you guys want to see what I did? So my shelves back here, you know, you can see where my brushes are. Oh, Olaf came to say hi. Really, he came to see if I have any paper towels that he can reach because he likes to eat my paper towels, which is gross. So my brushes over here on my shelf, I was just storing them in like the boxes that they come in, you know, like that. But I could only fit 4 sizes of brush across a row. And I was like, I have so much wasted space here. And now with the new brushes, I have so many that even with these 2 baker's racks, with my backstock and my brushes, there's like these baker's racks are at capacity. So I took some of those boxes. I'll show you what I did. I took some of those boxes that I showed you and I cut them up and I taped them and everything. And I made little, look at that. I made that. Pretty awesome, huh? It's just cardboard and a ton of tape and they'll probably not last very long. They'll fall apart pretty quickly. But for now, I went from only being able to fit 4 brushes on a shelf to fitting like 12, I think. I think I have 12 on a shelf now. So that's exciting. Just thought I'd show you that. I was pretty proud of myself. You guys are still on that, aren't you? Positive self-speak. It's not negative self-speak. I just recognize when it's a practice canvas that is just yucky because I didn't put any time and energy into it. It was just to work out an idea. And then I took that to a real canvas to do it. That's all it is. You know, I know that not everything I do is going to be awesome and worth showing to anybody or selling. And that's all that is. You want to own some junk canvases? No. I told Vince that if he, my trash is your treasure. Well, I've got a lot of treasure for you then. I told Vince that if he wants to do that, he can, but he has to learn how to package and ship paintings. And he was like, okay. And I told him, you do realize that it can take 15 to 20 minutes to package a single painting, right? He was like, oh. Oh, well, welcome, Sylvia. It's okay that you're late. We're just having fun and just kind of chatting today. You guys encouraging Vince. I don't know what I'm going to do with you. All right, what else do you want to talk about that is not Vince's idea? Let's talk about something not so much Vince's idea. But also, let's just pop back over to here just real quick. And obviously, I want honesty because if you say yes and then you really mean no, then I just waste my time. So, is this something that you feel like is similar to something you'd like a tutorial on? I know we've done a few vase still lifes before, but you know, each one is a little bit different. It might offer something a little bit different. So is this something that you would be interested in doing for a tutorial? Yes or no? So let me know, and if you think yes, then I'll start working on an actual idea, one that's not textured on the background, because I know 50% of the people who comment on the video will say, do I have to do the texture? on the background. Yeah, I'll start working it into an actual painting if you're interested. If you're not, then I'll move on to something else. I'm not hurt either way. Yes to texture. You guys want to do painting on a textured background? What? All right. I didn't think you guys would be in. We've done it a little bit in the past. Let's see. What did we do on textured backgrounds? We did... we did the Easter Island Moai. We'll use the texture medium on him. We used texture medium on our abstracts. We used a little bit of like gloss gel for some texture on the sunset painting with the pond and the tree and everything. So we've done it a few times, but I love painting on modeling paste. If you are someone who you don't like painting on a canvas straight out of the package because it's too glossy, but you don't really like the rough tooth of gesso, I think you would love painting on modeling paste. Because modeling paste, let me find mine. I love this. In fact, I buy it in this huge tub, and it can be expensive, especially if you get it at Michael's. Shop at Michael's as little as possible, you guys. It's so expensive. Don't shop there if you don't have a coupon. Never pay full price at Michael's. I'm pretty sure I bought this at the Blick store in Salt Lake, but dickblick.com has it too. But I buy it in the big tub, and it's very heavy. And the reason it's very heavy is because it's the acrylic medium. So essentially paint binder. It's a very thick medium. And the reason it's white and the reason it's got that really absorbent kind of, it's like a very soft, rough texture. I don't know how to explain it. It's because it has marble dust in it, and that's why it's so heavy. It's marble dust. And so it gives this it's a really, I know this is kind of a dumb term, but it's a very luxurious texture to paint on. And you don't have to do it heavy textured like I did here. I put this on with a palette knife, and I intentionally left tons of texture. When there wasn't enough texture, I kind of mushed it with the knife to get a little bit more. But you can apply it with a brush if you want to. You can scrape it really smooth with a palette knife, maybe add a couple of layers. You can, just put it on there and then lightly sand it to smooth it down a bit more. But I love painting with modeling paste. Another thing I like to do is sometimes I just want kind of the texture or the surface texture, but not the bumpy texture. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll mix modeling paste with gesso. And I kind of get the best of both worlds there. It's not quite as thick and heavy as the modeling paste, but it's not quite as rough and toothy as the gesso. So that's really cool. You can mix any medium. Did you know that? Some of them might not make the best mixture. You might mix it and go, ugh, that was kind of yucky, but you can. So you could take ceramic stucco and mix it with modeling paste. I mean, like actually mix them together. See what kind of a surface texture you get from that. Oh, look, I actually have, oh no, that's gloss. Never mind. I have lots of texture mediums. I love texture mediums. I do have 2 tubs of modeling paste because I use it a lot. I've even mixed it with matte medium, which is a little strange. It's not my favorite. They're kind of hard to mix together, but they do mix. But yeah. What do you buy for the texture? What do you mean, what do I buy for the texture? Like what texture materials do I like the best? I have a ton of them. The modeling paste is by far my favorite. The one that I don't have that I really want to get It's made by Golden. Liquitex doesn't make it. It's fiber paste. So fiber paste is cool. It's a lot of the Liquitex mediums have a bit of a plasticky feel once they're dry, which is cool. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but sometimes I don't want that. And the Golden fiber paste, when it dries, it almost feels like handmade paper, which is really cool. And it absorbs the paint so well. It's really fun stuff to work with. So I need to get me some of that. Yeah, you can use spackle. You have to be careful with spackle. And trust me, I'm speaking from a place of experience here. If you apply it a little too thick, it will crack as it dries, which I know sounds kind of cool. You're like, oh, like crackle paste. No, not like crackle paste at all. It looks kind of gross. I did that several years ago, just thinking it would look like stucco or something that started cracking. And I had painted it like kind of a tan. So then it cracked and it looked like flesh. And it was really gross. It grossed me out. So just be careful with spackle. If you're going to use it, you want to apply it very, very thin. And you want to make sure that it dries very, very slowly. The slower it dries, the less likely it is to crack. Yeah, you can mix texture paste with your paint. Absolutely. Yeah, you guys, seriously, experiment. You can mix, like, I'm sure with the Golden line, but I don't use Golden products, some of their mediums once in a while, but like Liquitex for sure. You can mix anything. So I could take my modeling paste and decide, oh, and do you know why this is called modeling paste? It's because they say if you take the lid off, I haven't done this yet because I like to use it for what I like to use it for. If you take the lid off and you let it sit for a little while, let it kind of start to dry a bit, and you can scoop it out before it's all the way dry, and it's almost like clay. And so you can kind of shape it and everything. So that's why it's called flexible modeling paste. A lot of people will call it molding paste, but it's not. It's modeling paste. But I could take this, and not only could I mix it with gesso or paint, but I could also take, like I said, I could even take, I haven't done this, might be fun to experiment with, my gloss super heavy gel, very transparent. It's got, you know, just a really high texture. Mix them together, see what happens. I have no idea what would happen, but I could. I could mix it with matte medium, thin it down a bit. I could also take, where is it? There it is. I could also take some of my Liquitex inks, the acrylic inks. Plop out a blob of this, squirt some ink into it, mix it up. So the Liquitex line of products is made to be mixed. There's not a Liquitex product that you can't mix with another Liquitex product. So that's really fun. I mean, some things might not work quite as well. I actually just thought of one. So I have this stuff that I have not used yet. It's called Liquithick. So it's made to it's made for like palette knife. You mix just a tiny bit of it with paint, and it's supposed to kind of give your paint a little bit more of a matte feel, but also give it a very heavy-bodied texture that's much, much closer to oil paint. But apparently you have to be very, very careful with it because it does not contain binder. So you can only add a tiny bit of it to your paint. So I just realized that if I mixed ink with just this, that it wouldn't really do anything because it doesn't have binder in it, so it wouldn't stick to anything. But other than that, you can pretty much mix anything together. The overwhelming urge to try Liquitex ink on spackle. Heck yes. I want to see how that turns out, Deb. And And if you're going to use ink, you guys, you have to get some of this granulation medium. The Winsor & Newton. There's probably other companies that make it too, but this is the only one that I know of. This Winsor & Newton granulation medium. So, and notice it says watercolor, so it's a watercolor medium. I looked for it at Michael's and they didn't have it. My Michael's didn't have it anyway. Hobby Lobby did have it, but I ended up buying this on dickblick.com and it was like, I want to say this is like $8 at Hobby Lobby, and I think I got it for like $3 or $4, maybe $5 on Dick Blick. So it was substantially cheaper either way, but use this stuff with your inks and watercolors. It's amazing stuff. And we used some of that not too long ago, but we'll use some more very, very soon. It kind of separates the paint and makes it clump up. It kind of makes it look a little bit sandy, almost as if you had sprinkled some powder on the paper instead of your paint. So it's really cool stuff. Good. I'm glad that you're getting some good ideas out of this, Pat. That makes me happy. I'm getting your wheels turning, everybody. Yay. And you're getting my wheels turning. Look, today I was kind of feeling like, not blah, but a routine. Just kind of feeling a little routine about, you know, the ideas that I'm having to paint and everything. And I start talking to you guys and all of a sudden I get all kinds of ideas. So I appreciate that. That makes me happy. What else? What else do you guys want to talk about? Jam sessions. Yeah, we can call these jam sessions. I kind of like that, actually. Heck yeah, we'll start calling them jam sessions. Thanks, Deb. Good job. Oh, did you guys notice that I have ponies? Look, oh, my hair's getting so long. I have these ugly little nubby ponies they keep falling out because they're so short and my hair's poking out the bottom. You see all my roots? Because I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go gray or not. It's kind of scary. But yeah, so I have ponies and bangs. And I don't look 40 anymore. Yes! I probably still look 40, but I feel like I look 36. So that's good. I like that. Yeah. What else do you guys want to talk about? Or are you also inspired now that you're like, okay, it was nice talking to you. I'm gonna go paint. I never did look 40. Oh, Deb, you're so sweet. It's because the camera, it hides so much, man. And I wear a lot more makeup in front of the camera than I do in regular life because I have really awful skin. I'm sure you can tell. It's really awesome being 40 and having the complexion of like a filthy 14-year-old child. But so I have to wear a lot of makeup so that you guys don't wonder if I have nasty drug habits or something. And in turn, it helps hide some of my wrinkles. So I don't look quite so old on camera, I think, and that's a good thing. I'm always embarrassed when I meet people in real life. I'm like, they're going to realize that I'm actually old. What was my favorite tutorial to do? I have a huge wrinkle right here. Right there. Actually, that one doesn't bother me. It's because I'm blind and I refuse to wear glasses, so I squint a lot. I have that one. And then my little crow's feet, which I'm okay with those. I like those. It means I laugh a lot, because I do. What was my favorite tutorial to do? From like an actual production standpoint, I would have to say it was one of my recent lives going live with you guys is so awesome. I'm looking around at some of the paintings I have here, trying to decide. I love going live with you guys, and I was so terrified to do it, but I'm really enjoying it. So I would have to say one of those. From like an actual painting standpoint, I would probably have to say the paint bucket, the little paint bucket that we did in the 30 days. I loved that paint bucket. It was so much fun. And it was really fun because it was also a departure from things that I had painted before. And so that was really refreshing to me as well. But yeah, I loved doing that painting. I loved it so much. Oh, Audrey, you're sweet. Yep, Dick Blick, they'll ship to Canada. It does, yeah, that's what I've heard is they do have high shipping charge. Even in the US, their shipping rates are pretty good, especially if you buy as much as I do, because, you know, they have different shipping rates depending on how much you buy. But it takes forever, like at least a week and a half. They're slow, but, what else do you guys want to talk about? Nothing? Are you guys done with me? If you are in the $15 plus Patreon group, I will be rescheduling the event that I had to cancel yesterday. I'll probably wait until closer to the weekend because I doubt that very many of you are going to want or be able to come on a weekday. So I was thinking maybe Friday afternoon. So, you know, when you guys get off work, or those of you in other countries, maybe it'll be a little bit of a more convenient time for you. So I'm kind of thinking about Friday. Everybody who's here, I think I do want to do another live directed with all of you. Those really help kind of kick my creativity into gear. So we will probably do another, you know, broad group one pretty soon. So keep on the looks for that. And I won't go out in the sun again before we do it. I swear the last 2 days, I got more sun exposure than I've probably had in the last at least 2 years combined. It was so awful. It was so awful. Like, so my arms they don't really look sunburned, but I can feel it. They were so swollen. They were super, super swollen, both of them. So I do have a little bit of a farmer tan. But my neck and my hairline, because I have my ponies, and then one leg, just my left leg, and mostly just my ankle. And how that happened, I don't know, because my leg was exposed from the knee down, but really only my ankle got like seriously burnt and really, really hurt. So I don't know. Well, hello, James. Lisa almost asked to see next week's painting. I know, see? I really hate that our rhythm is broken. I really want to show you what we're going to paint next week, but we're not going to paint next week together. It makes me sad. Am I planning any painting over black gesso in the future? I've never used black gesso. I don't really see the point of black gesso. I mean, I guess I see the point of it, but I've never purchased it. To me, if it would just be the same thing as painting on a black canvas. So, and we paint on black canvases. We have several times in the past. I guess it's been a while since we did, hasn't it? We should probably do another one. But yeah, I love painting on black canvas. I've just never used black gesso. But a lot of times if you use gesso and then put an underpainting color on it, you can still get that gesso texture. So if I needed black gesso or red gesso or whatever, I'd probably just gesso the canvas and paint my color over top of it that I needed. Because I've never had good luck tinting gesso. You know, everybody says you can add whatever paint colors you want to your gesso, but then to me, it's not really the true texture of gesso. It's more like paint with a little bit more tooth to it, or else it's really toned down. The color isn't as intense as I want it to be. So I never even try to tint gesso. I just paint over it. So many of you are excited that your brush is shipped. So yeah, if you got the email today, trust me, they're not going out today because the post office is closed, obviously. But I'm trying to blow through as many as I can so that tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, I can take a huge, probably 2 or 3 armloads of packages to the post office and be like, boom, mail those for me. So yeah, if you're eyeballing your tracking number, it won't say anything until tomorrow, because that's just how it goes. Deb's gonna have a brush party, you guys, and thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and I always feel like, oh, maybe they've just been nice in the past, and that's why they've bought my brushes. Maybe I shouldn't introduce more, because then they'll feel like they have to buy them, and really they're like, oh, would she stop selling brushes already? But so the fact that you guys get so excited about it really makes me happy, and makes me excited. And I'm really excited now that I can start like using these brushes regularly in my videos, because I try to use brushes that I don't have available minimally, because I know that you guys are going to be like, where can I get it? Where can I get it? And I'm going to get a million emails about, how do I get that brush? I don't see that brush on your website. So I try to hold off on using them too much until I have them available. And now I can use them. I can use my gigantic filbert. Oh, I love this guy. And my 1/2 inch. I mean, I love my 5/8 inch bright too. But for some reason, I've found myself using the 1/2 inch more often. It's that perfect brush for when you want to layer, but the 1/2 inch flat is just a little bit too strong, so you lose some texture. So you want to keep a little bit more texture while you're layering. This is the brush you want to use, and I just love it. And that chisel, oh, it's so crisp. It's like using an angle brush at the same time. Anyway, I'm super excited about them. I'm glad I get to use them. So I think for my very first painting that I come back with, I'm probably going to use as many of them as possible, and not like to be all salesy, like, oh, and this one, you should go buy this one too. But because I'm excited that I get to use them now, and you guys will have them by then, and you'll be excited to use them too. Yeah, they do. They do clean pretty dang good. Yes, my fan brush. I love the fan brush. And it's going to be a pretty fan brush, but not for very long, you guys. Your fan brush will start looking like this, and then you'll use it a few times, and then it will get super ugly, but you'll still love it, because it will then look like my fan brush. I swear they're the same fan brush. So yeah, that's just the nature of kind of the natural bristle. It stains so much easier than the other brushes. So anyway, yes, I'm so excited for you guys to have my fan brushes, because I always feel bad when I use fan brush and so many people are like, oh, the fan brush I have is awful, or my fan brush doesn't do that. And then I feel really bad, but I think that you guys will like this one. I've never used a fan brush this dense before. All the fan brushes I ever used were like really thin and wimpy. They were like that. I'm like, that doesn't do anything. So these are quite substantial, and I really, really like that. Amen, Deb. Exactly. All right, well, we've been going for about an hour. If you guys don't have anything else that you want to chat about, then I will let you go. And we will do this again next Saturday. Sunday, next Sunday. And I'll get something scheduled. In the meantime, maybe I'll start like a thread in Jams for ideas for things that you guys want to paint. Not saying that, you know, everything that gets suggested is going to get painted, but sometimes it's nice to kind of see what you guys suggest and then the reactions that everybody else has to those suggestions, because it gives me ideas. And I get good ideas from you guys, even if I don't end up painting what you suggest. Like you might suggest this, and I may read that and it triggers something else. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to paint that, but I am going to paint this. And it's not because this is a bad idea. It's just because my mind triggered another idea off of it. And that's fun for me. And I hope that that's fun for you too. So I'm kind of rambling. I did say that I got up at 3:30 this morning, so maybe I'm tired. All right. Post those paintings to the album. Oh, Katrina and Pat are on top of it. All right, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, I am going to say goodbye for today then. And I have loved chatting with all of you as always. And we will talk again a couple times next week. So until then, bye everybody. And I'm still there. Kind of ruins the magic, doesn't it?